Good morning, and welcome to Tulane University. It is my pleasure to introduce our next session, the Innovation Arc, from State Strategy to Startup Scale-Up. If time allows, at the end of the session, the panel will take questions submitted by the audience. To submit a question, please scan the QR codes located on the screens. Please be sure to silence your cell phones. Enjoy the conversation, and please join me in giving a warm welcome to our moderator, Leo John Arnett, Policy Guru.
Yeah, right, Guru.
Thank you, Fleig, for upgrading my title. Good morning, everyone. We're really excited about this panel discussing starting up from the state strategy side to the business, the innovation, the commercialization side, and we have one of the best panels. And considering I'm only on one, I could say y'all are lucky this morning. Sorry to the rest of the panelists. And so I would like all of you to briefly introduce yourselves. Of course, I'm going to get into what you do and dissect all of that. So if you just want to introduce yourself up front.
Hey, good morning. Josh Fleig, Chief Innovation Officer at Louisiana Economic Development.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sahil Jain, and I work at Newlab.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Loy. I'm Director of Technology Commercialization at Fuel, Future Use of Energy in Louisiana.
And I'm Leo John Arnett, your moderator. I'm a policy advisor at Greater New Orleans Anchor GNO Inc. So to jump right in, Josh, you are the state's first Chief Innovation Officer. And I also know that LED has just released a strategic plan where energy and so many of our key sectors are at the forefront, driving forward with innovation. Can you explain, how does your role, how does this strategy, what does this mean from the state strategy side, getting into not just innovation, but energy across the board?
Yeah, so thank you. Yes, technically the first. And I joke that I don't know if that's a great sign of confidence in me or just our, indicative of how far behind we actually are in this space and how little we know. But no, I'm excited to be working on, yes, what is a new role, a new initiative, and I'll talk for a minute about how it segues into our strategic plan. The simplest way to think about where we are in time in terms of what we're doing in our strategic plan is we haven't done a strategic plan since 2008, and the world looks very, very different in that time horizon, right? The last time we did one, I think the iPhone had just been released, right? There were no trillion-dollar companies. Innovation in the United States, or technology-led innovation, had taken off, obviously coming out of the dot-com bust, but it wasn't pushing the nation's GDP forward like it is today. And so in that timeline, we've seen obviously tremendous growth in the United States through technology-led innovation. It's pushed the nation's GDP forward about 35% in that time, but Louisiana has remained very flat, about 2.5% GDP growth in that same period. So the easiest way to think about our new strategic plan is keep doing the things we're doing well, right? The asset industries that we have in Louisiana, the places where we have a right to win, like energy, like shipbuilding, life science work, trade logistics, all the things where we have positive momentum, but make sure that there's a line of innovation cutting through everything that we're doing. So whether it's recruiting new businesses that are paying higher wages and are pushed by innovation, or creating new types of jobs, or my practice, which is focused on how do we build more companies from the ground up here in Louisiana that are technology-led, innovative companies on top of those legacy industries. So we know how to make energy, we know how to refine oil products here, we know how to make chemicals here. How do we make sure that we are enabling new companies using new technologies to do the same type of things, but across all of our asset industries? Again, whether it's shipbuilding, whether it's life sciences, whether it's trade and logistics, but obviously we're here at an energy forum. Let's talk about energy.
Thank you. So let's. So I'm actually going to jump to Stephen and ask, Stephen, please, what is fuel? Can you explain that? And then I also want to throw, why Louisiana? Mm-hmm. And then how is fuel strengthening those relationships between industries, between research, the higher education institutions, and between some of these companies that Josh is telling us,
Sure.
Louisiana wins at already?
Right. Great question. So fuel, like I said earlier, stands for Future Use of Energy in Louisiana. And so we were established by National Science Foundation, NSF, for a 10-year grant at possibility of receiving $165 million. Said the possibility because just like any investment, I see some investors up here, you want to trot your investment, make sure you're doing everything that hitting all your marks. Besides the funding that we could possibly receive from NSF, we also get great support from LED. And I think because a lot of what Fuel is doing aligns very well with what LED wants to do and is doing and what the state wants to do. So we have 3 pillars. We have workforce development, we have youth-inspired research. Ashworth is in charge of that. He's in the front over here. And then I'm technology commercialization. And so we have different programs to try to help do that. One of them that I use is called Proof of Concept Fund, which is $200,000 for companies to try to get through that valley of death. And so it's a non-dilutive grant, and so they can use that to try to, after you get friends, family, and fools, there's usually this lull because you're trying to get to professional funding, but you don't have the funds to try to prove out your model. And so that's what we're doing. And we've had